Hey, you guys. It's MJ from Love. I am unlisted right now. I'm wanting to just provide a clear channel of the energy update for our approaching lunar eclipse, July 16th, 2019, the collective energy update. So, collective intuitions. This is a running theme for Love TV for these last few months. So, it's intuitively picking up on the energies of a certain collective. Those of you who resonate, those of you who kind of feel part of this tribe, it's like uh, more of the general themes that energetically a lot of people are working with. This has come up again where it's like testing. There's a whole bunch of tests coming in around karma and disempowered patterns, enslavement patterns, and we're really being asked to, I want to say, dig in and or simply be present with the awareness. Remember that we're ultimately up leveling our default settings, so we're up leveling our reactivity and self-care rituals and practices to be more evolved, more harmonious, more in love. There's a lot of money triggers coming up for people, and thus, like, empowering worthiness to receive the love that you are. I'm just hearing shakes, which I'm aware suddenly could be earthquake activity. And then, like, foundations, certain foundations are being shook at their core. And that is representative of our own inner reality, our inner self, or our higher self, or just the self that we are. I feel that that is relevant to our own inner stability, our own. So it could be the routines that we're in. It could be more obvious, like where we're living and the people we surround ourselves with. So anything that isn't secure in our foundation, in the energetic projection of how we're moving forward, that's all going to get released. So again, people, places, things, and circumstances can arise to help trigger us into the healing of the base tones of lack, suffering, deception, manipulation. So there's going to be a continuing conversation around money, finance, and global economy. I feel the shakes and that kind of shaky foundation is very much to do with the economy as well, the global economy. And then there's something pushing up against the perpetuation of the war cycle. I feel energetically there's something pushing up against it. It's like the energy of wanting to drive the war cycle forward, like perpetuating the war cycle, but I'm getting this energy block. It feels like it's like that's being uh stopped. So the energies on this planet that have been perpetuating cycles of war are coming to an end. Like this feeling of like the war cycle agenda is not able to move forward anymore. And then I'm hearing emotion, light beings increasingly congregating, and yes, indeed, like an evolution of the paradigm shift m- manifestations, which are part of the clearing and the leading. Hmm. So another, just like on the physical plane, are like and I've spoken to some of you about this, but those of you who resonate with being on a fairly extensive guided, spiritually guided or divinely guided, intuitively guided journey with an awareness of paradigm shift on the planet, yada yada. So it's almost like how I feel into it or see it is like it's a stronghold of light. It's a stronghold of clarity and clear channeled energy, so that's the conduit and the power of projection via these stronghold light anchors. I consider Ultra Love to be one of them. I consider many of you as beings to be that as well. Hence the resonance and the knowingness of the one inside and the forgiveness within and compassion and love for healing, and then true benevolence in the way we share and co-create and are responsible for managing our energy and to maintain the light as a grid point for transforming the darkness and gently ushering people beyond the veil, because none of it needs to be forced. It's all in the beingness that we are. So increasingly, the more we support one another in the rising evolution, we then get better and better at simply holding space, and then the transformation for other becomes much more instantaneous or certainly accelerated. For example, those of us who are aware of what I'm talking about from the intuitive guided level, something that might have taken me 15 years to anchor and manifest in my reality now will take the next wave of people that find this energy. It will take that wave a fraction of the time. People I'm working with who are leaving corporate worlds are pioneering successful yoga careers within like a year, year and a half, where it took me 3-4 years. I was teaching yoga a lot before I was successfully making money and teaching full time. So people can make these shifts and these leaps much quicker now. Hence why it's important for us to stay committed to the function that we're in and just keep plowing through the lessons as and when they come up, as in continue to stay present with the emotional field triggers as and when they come up. Again, to me, we have to remember that it's the emotional body, the energy body, which is actually being um, siphoned. I know we're so trapped in the 3D reality that we think it's all the stuff we're sharing, but in the in the beyond the veil, it's the energies that it's our own personal energy that we're reclaiming via the emotional wounding, right? It's the energy wounds that are tripping us up, not the physical patterns necessarily, which is why I talk in the Fearless Life Guide about addressing the emotional patterning. Address the guilt, address the shame, address the resentment, bitterness, jealousy, whatever. Those are the disempowered enslavement wounding that keeps us looping round and then attracting these situations, right? And recreating them, collectively projecting them. So as in we're if we live in fear of war, we perpetuate the cycle by denying it exists. I.e., let's just keep shopping and pretending that our lifestyles have nothing to do with the poverty, enslavement, and injustice that goes on in other countries, right? And I'm feeling a lot of it come up in the physical body as well. And that's something in vulnerability to share with you guys is like the fluctuation and the allowing of the waterways to continue to move. At the same time, continuing with the profound self-love practices to really I want to say crystallize your divine form. So we're now breaking out of like massive, long time cycles of being and living in fear of our physical body versus having a dominion and projecting it into the field as our desired divine state, which we totally have the capacity to do. Most of us just don't do it because we're so heavily programmed out of it. So yeah, that's part of this next wave is manifesting the physical apparatus. And I want to say like locking in, that's quite a strong expression, but like really locking in your presence point, your desired projection, and commitment to the work ultimately. So right here and now, I'm having like, whew, like I feel quite like in the middle here, and there's like a tightness coming in, and then that's making me think of just our ability to really continue to love and sit with um some of the sensations, right? So like the head fog, physical pain or emotional pain. And that's why I'll remind myself and all of you always that our self care, self love, peaceful practices, relaxation practices, meditation practices, like it's the juice of life. And then working either within yourself or with other to anchor in like your divinity codes. So locking you into your purpose so that you can really pioneer trust. When you lock into your purpose, you can do this work much more effectively. Because once you're on your purpose, it's like that becomes the central focus, and eventually everything begins to align like around that. So, really, all you ever need to do is focus on that and your purpose. Everything else can essentially fall away. You don't need to micromanage your money. You don't need to micromanage your body and your food. You don't need to micromanage your friendship circles. You just become the expression, and everything and everyone that lines up with you is in alignment with you. So you don't need to dominate and control self or other. You are living in unity with self, which is a divine co-creative field in service to the whole, ultimately. It's really benevolent. It's really exquisitely beautiful because you then embody your dream state. You embody that which you dream yourself to be, which is a reflection of the highest potential of humanity. And ultimately, we are that. We are that which we choose. It's just that the choosing is so. Um, Presence here now, and we've been for a long time kind of chasing our tails, running away from the past but chasing the future, getting nowhere fast. So let's break out of the dream spell, as it were, and endeavor that kind of joyful, happy, abundant, co-creative union state so that we can ultimately create from that place, which we are doing, and more people are doing, and more of us are seeing this world come alive. So that's a big aspect of that as well. More and more of us living in 5D or new paradigm realities will continue to shine for people. They can feel it, and so, and even people who aren't particularly tuned in necessarily are beginning to feel it as well. And I can feel it, and I can see it as well. I can actually see in people's faces, and in even sometimes just photos, like they're shifting. um and any of you who res with me will get that there's so much compassion, so much love and compassion for the next wave, because it's big, it's deep, it's annoying, probably a lot. And that I did that for years on my journey, and I often get that with clients, being like, "I just want to go back to my job." I'm like, "Do you really though?" They're like, "No," but they're like, "Why is it so deep? Why is it so relentless?" And I'm like, "Well, because humanity's been living in denial for a really long time. It's like it's like if we've put on 40 pounds over the course of 4 years, it's not going to drop off in one day. It's going to take some unraveling of the patterns that created that 40-pound overweight person. It's going to take some unraveling. It might not take 4 years to lose it all, but it will take some concerted, disciplined effort to unravel the patterning to then set you on a new trajectory. So we're still in the transition. We've been in this bridging phase for most of our lives, if not our lives. Like, as far as I'm aware, we've been in the bridge for probably a few decades, moving from Piscean age to Aquarian age. That's kind of like what the 60s and 70s were about. It was this sort of like compassionate evolution in our understanding, because that was the first of its kind in that wave in this historical context, right? Because in my personal journey, you can go way out to all the different dimensions, and you can go way out and have contact with frequencies, constellations, which is lovely. And it's all relevant as and when it's relevant on our journey. And yet I find myself coming back to this, like, this place of having our feet on the ground and being like, are you guys with me? Did we all grow up in this world where we were told this story about this is the history and this is the world and da da da, and now we're all adults going, but that's not it at all, and that story is not really even serving our brothers and sisters, and like there's a lot of shame and guilt inside of us that we know we need to deal with to evolve and expand and become a better humanity. So in my personal spiritual awakening transformational journey, there gets a point on your journey where you're even going to let go of being spiritual. You want to be human. And again, that's coming off the back of pretentious superiority in spiritual community, in white privileged spiritual community. It's really great talking about unity, and it's easy to shut your door with people who need your help. Or it's really nice talking about love and light until somebody calls you out on your shameful behavior, and then you lie about it and pretend it never happened. And this is the kind of underlying covert corruption that all of us have to address, both in our personal lives and in the world. It's just the same thing, essentially. If we're being asked to address something, we have to address it. And if we know intuitively what it is, then let it be what it is. But don't play the victim anymore. And let us not act out of guilt and obligation anymore. It doesn't matter what people say or do, that's the feeling resonance connection. And ultimately, well, yeah, the behavior is the behavior. And, there's a huge, I want to say, like, shifting of the gate or changing of the guard. That's what this is. This paradigm shift is a changing of the guard. Where fear, control, and domination was running the show, now love, unity, and compassion runs the show. It's like not fun to live in a world where we're mean to each other. It's not fun to live in a world where our greed is exploiting half the population. So these eclipses moving us in toward the 2020 astrology is just going to keep these energies moving fast, and it's part of why we're all connecting now. We need each other. And we need to support each other in receiving the love that we are. And then keep believing. I had a really beautiful exchange with one of you about hearing this message come through of take them to the water. And it's just wild. This idea of spiritual cleansing on the planet. And yeah, like a baptism sort of energy en masse in the cleansing, the water, the earth, and emotions, the physical water clearing the body and the apparatus. It's all really divine as well. It's just all divine. It's all happening to us as much as we're doing it. We're not really doing it because we're one with it. Again, all of the doing is very much like a human egoic construct of self-importance via the wound of separation of I am not God. God is separate from self, so I must try hard to be like God rather than just be God. Because you are. It just seems we have this sort of like human awakening process where we have to like go through, feel it, and uncreate a whole bunch of our less than desirable godly creations. That's karma, baby. So I hope that was useful to you guys. There's a lot of space, and I'm feeling like I just want to sit in it and be with it. I'm sending you guys loads of love. I'll do my best to continue to share an update as often as I can, as and when I'm inspired to do so. I really, really love you guys and appreciate you. Thank you for booking readings. If you guys want to book any sessions to have a chat and to do noodle stuff, feel free to do so. My rates are what they are because that's what they're guided to be. So I look forward to talking to you either privately or just here, not just here as well. Here as well. I'll look forward to speaking to you privately and here openly and for free. I love you guys. I am wishing you so much love, and let's just keep going because we're on it for sure.